So Eddie Howe's first press conference at the Benton training ground of the new season, even though we are still in pre-season, has just taken place ahead of the Sela Cup. Probably the big talking points were the fitness of players. Fabian Schär still a doubt, Sean Longstaff to come back, and Emil Kraft still not quite ready for this weekend. So they're the concerns. Joe Willock as well, not quite ready. So they're the concerns. Eddie Howe suggesting in his press conference just there that his squad is probably, in his own words, leaner than it was last season. So I don't think he was kind of saying the squad's too small, because as we know, the squad was quite big in terms of players who just weren't getting a game, weren't getting an opportunity. But I think Eddie Howe, the point he made in there was that, you know, we still need to bring more players in. He mentioned in there that he was a fan of Tino Livramento, who's obviously in the process of a transfer from Southampton. And then he said he would probably like to bring in a couple more players. So whether that means 2 or 3 before the window shuts, we'll have to wait and see. Harrison Ashby going on loan to Swansea, so that's going to be one less in the squad. But really, Eddie Howe is now a week away from the season. Has he got exactly everything he wants from this window? That's hard to say at this moment in time, with a week to go before that Villa game. Personally, I think he would have liked to have a couple more players through the door before then. But you know, he's stood here now. He's got Harvey Barnes through and Tonelli, so they're 2 big players to come in, and then the Livramento deal just around the corner. So 3 players in. I think personally maybe 5 signings would have probably been ideal for him, but he'll probably take this scenario as it is because he hasn't really got much choice. But Newcastle go into a season now where the expectation is always going to be relatively high given the takeover, but it's an optimistic sort of high, and I think his view on it all is that he's not going to dampen that. He wants to keep that going. But I think the expectation outside of Newcastle, everyone is expecting Newcastle to be one of the contenders now, and I think that's going to be something that Newcastle have to manage, Eddie Howe has to manage. And you've got Liverpool and Man City in those first 2 games, so that has to be the focus, getting points on the board before the Champions League campaign kicks in, and seeing exactly where Newcastle are on September the 1st in the transfer window. And I think then, and only then, we can make sounder judgments on how Newcastle United are going to do this season.